There are moments in life when the world seems to stand still, when we suddenly realize that our strength wasn't lost, only unfocused. And in those moments, a single, clear target can turn wandering souls into warriors of purpose. Before we dive deeper, if you believe clarity, discipline, and growth matter, like this video, share it, comment below, and subscribe so more lives can rise with you. A goal doesn't give you power. It unlocks the power already inside you. Just as a compass needle trembles until it finds north, your mind seeks direction. And a 1-minute goal, simple, written, clear, points that direction with unshakable certainty. It is a goal you can write in 60 seconds. A goal so clear that anyone who reads it understands what you seek. A goal so simple that your heart whispers, "Yes, this is what I was made to chase." This is not about speed. This is about focus. Focus sharp enough to cut through distraction. When you write a goal, you make a promise. When you read it daily, you renew that promise. When you believe it, you become the person who can fulfill it. A written goal is a seed. Your consistency is the soil. Your discipline is the sunlight. Every morning, read your goal. Every evening, read it again. Let it correct your drift. Let it shape your decisions. Let it transform your character. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the level of your clarity. You are capable of more than you've allowed yourself to believe. If your life feels scattered, unfocused, or stagnant, don't curse the darkness. Light a target, aim your life, and take the first step today, even if it only takes 1 minute. If these words stirred something in you, if they sparked even a small desire to aim higher, please engage with this video. Your interaction helps this message reach someone who may be standing where you once stood. Before you leave, please comment below, "I will set my 1-minute goal today." The future belongs to those who write their goals, anchor their purpose, and decide each day to walk toward the person they were born to become. Aim with clarity, move with purpose, grow with courage. Clarity is power because the human mind is constantly searching for something to lock onto. When you give it a precise target, it stops wandering and starts working. Most people are not weak, they are simply unfocused. Their energy is scattered across worries, distractions, and endless tasks that feel urgent but mean nothing. A clear goal acts like a lens that gathers all your scattered strength into a single beam. It sharpens your thinking, heightens your awareness, and pushes your actions in one direction. When you know exactly what you want, your mind begins noticing opportunities that were invisible before. You start seeing connections, solutions, and pathways that were always there but hidden behind noise. This is how clarity transforms potential into motion, and motion into results. Human psychology loves certainty. When a goal is unclear, the mind hesitates, doubts, and procrastinates because it feels unsafe to move. But when the goal is defined, the mind feels secure enough to act with confidence. Clarity removes the emotional fog that creates fear and confusion. It gives you permission to move boldly. Decision-making becomes easier because your goal becomes the filter for every choice. If something moves you closer, you say yes with strength. If it doesn't, you say no without guilt. That is real power. Clarity also fuels motivation. When your goal is specific, your brain can imagine the result. That image triggers emotion, and emotion creates energy. You start waking up with intention instead of pressure. Small tasks feel meaningful because they are connected to a bigger direction. Clarity gives you the why, and the why gives you the drive to keep going when excitement fades. Even discipline becomes less of a struggle because you are no longer fighting your brain, you are guiding it. When you are clear, you attract better habits, better decisions, and even better people. Unclear goals attract chaos. Clear goals attract alignment, and in a world filled with distractions, the ability to name a single meaningful target becomes a superpower. It keeps you grounded on days when life pulls you in 1,000 directions. It reminds you of who you are trying to become and why it matters. Without clarity, potential remains asleep. With clarity, even small actions become powerful enough to reshape your future. Purpose creates direction because every human being is wired to move toward meaning. When people lack purpose, they drift through life reacting to circumstances instead of creating their own path. But the moment a clear purpose enters the mind, something shifts. The heart becomes steadier, decisions gain weight, and even difficult days feel manageable because there is a reason behind the effort. Purpose acts like an internal compass, pointing you forward, even when everything around you feels uncertain. It gives you a sense of identity, reminding you that you are not just living day to day. You are building towards something that matters. Human behavior becomes stronger and more consistent when it is connected to meaning. Motivation may fade, but purpose remains. It whispers to you in moments of doubt and pulls you back on track when distractions try to scatter your attention. When your purpose is clear, your actions stop being random. You begin filtering your choices through a simple question. Does this move me closer to who I want to be? This question alone eliminates half of life's confusion. It removes the pressure to please everyone and replaces it with the courage to follow what feels deeply true to you. People often feel lost not because they are incapable, but because they have never defined where they want to go. Purpose fills that empty space with direction. It turns wandering into walking and walking into progress. The human mind craves this sense of direction because it provides emotional safety. When you know your path, your fears become smaller, your doubts become quieter, and your steps become stronger. Purpose also influences your environment. The clearer your purpose becomes, the more the right people begin to appear in your life. You naturally gravitate toward those who share your goals, values, or work ethic. Purpose aligns you with environments that help you grow rather than drain you. It becomes a silent force that shapes your habits, your relationships, and even your confidence. With purpose, mistakes no longer feel like failures, they become lessons that refine your path. Challenges no longer break you, they strengthen your direction. Purpose turns ordinary days into building blocks and ordinary efforts into meaningful growth. It gives you something to fight for, something to rise with, and something to protect. When you carry a clear purpose inside you, you move through life with a calm determination that others can feel. It becomes the quiet fire that keeps you going, even when the world cannot see the full picture of what you're becoming. Write it, read it, and repeat it because the human mind needs constant reminders to stay loyal to a vision. A goal written only once fades like a memory, but a goal written down clearly becomes a daily message to your future self. When you write a goal, you take something invisible and make it visible. You take a desire floating in your mind and anchor it into the real world. Writing forces clarity. It turns vague dreams into specific targets your brain can understand and act on. Human psychology responds to what it sees repeatedly, and your written goal becomes a quiet teacher, guiding your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. When you read your goal every day, you remind your mind of what truly matters. This consistent reminder interrupts doubt, replaces confusion, and reduces the emotional noise that pulls you toward distractions. Repetition is powerful because it shapes identity. What you repeat, you become. When you read your goal daily, you begin to internalize it. It starts feeling possible, then familiar, then inevitable. This process builds belief, and belief builds action. Many people fail not because they lack talent, but because they forget what they were aiming for. Life gets busy, problems throw dust over dreams, and responsibilities weaken motivation. But repeated exposure to your written goal keeps your mind awake. It keeps your heart connected to your mission. Reading your goal again and again also programs your subconscious mind, which influences most of your behavior without you even realizing it. The more familiar your goal becomes, the more your subconscious starts searching for solutions, opportunities, and ideas that match it. Repetition also strengthens emotional commitment. Each time you read your goal, you reignite the feeling behind it, the excitement, the purpose, the hunger. Emotion fuels persistence, and persistence is what turns goals into achievements. This cycle of writing, reading, and repeating creates mental discipline. It trains your focus and reduces the habit of drifting. You begin to say no more easily to distractions because you are constantly reminded of what you're working toward. Your actions start aligning naturally with your intentions. Over time, small repeated reminders create massive internal change. You start thinking differently, choosing differently, and behaving differently. This simple practice becomes the difference between someone who dreams and someone who becomes. The repetition builds momentum, and momentum builds transformation. Small steps build great momentum because human progress rarely happens in giant leaps. Most people wait for a perfect moment or a sudden surge of inspiration, but life rewards those who move consistently, even in tiny increments. Every small action you take toward your goal creates a ripple that grows stronger with each repetition. The brain loves patterns, and when it recognizes consistent effort, it begins to automate success. Small wins build confidence, and confidence builds courage to take bigger steps. Momentum is not about speed, it is about direction. Once your efforts start moving in the right direction, even the smallest action accelerates your progress and opens doors that seemed impossible before. Daily review of your goals transforms small steps into a powerful force. When you check in every day, even for a few minutes, you reconnect with your target and assess your progress. This prevents drift and ensures that your energy is always moving toward purpose rather than being wasted on distractions. Human behavior responds to visible progress. When you see yourself moving forward, no matter how slowly, it fuels motivation and reduces the temptation to quit. This is why momentum compounds. One small step today leads to another small step tomorrow. And soon, what seemed like a tiny effort becomes a habit. Habits shape character, and character determines the trajectory of your life. Small steps also reduce fear. Large goals can overwhelm the mind, making them seem unreachable. But breaking a goal into achievable actions makes it manageable and less intimidating. Each step you complete proves to yourself that progress is possible, reinforcing self-belief. Social psychology shows that humans are motivated by achievement signals. Celebrating small milestones, even privately, strengthens commitment and creates positive reinforcement. This reinforcement creates a cycle. The more steps you take, the more momentum builds, the easier it becomes to keep moving. Momentum has its own gravity. Once it starts, it pulls you forward, making actions feel effortless and opportunities easier to notice. Consistency is the hidden multiplier. The universe rewards repetition more than intensity. While big bursts of effort can impress others, it is the steady, continuous steps that create lasting impact. Momentum grows silently until it becomes unstoppable. Small steps also teach patience, discipline, and resilience, essential qualities for long-term success. They train you to trust the process rather than the result, to act even when motivation wavers. Every small step is a vote for the life you want, a declaration that your goals are more important than your fears or excuses. This accumulation of tiny efforts is what transforms ordinary people into achievers and ordinary days into extraordinary progress. Responsibility shapes character because every time you take ownership of your actions, you grow stronger from within. Human beings are wired to respond to accountability. When you hold yourself responsible for your goals, your choices, and your effort, you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or luck. Responsibility transforms excuses into action, fear into courage, and hesitation into determination. People who avoid responsibility drift through life, reacting to events instead of creating their own story. Those who embrace it rise above challenges, learning to navigate difficulties with confidence. Taking responsibility is not just about completing tasks, it is about claiming the life you want and refusing to let circumstances define you. It teaches discipline, because once you accept that your success depends on your effort, you naturally begin to plan, prioritize, and act intentionally. Character is built in these moments of choice, when you decide to do what needs to be done, even if it is uncomfortable or inconvenient. Responsibility also strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable, and obstacles are inevitable. When you view difficulties as your responsibility to overcome, you become proactive instead of passive. You start looking for solutions instead of dwelling on problems. This mindset builds mental toughness because every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice patience, creativity, and perseverance. Human sociology shows that respected leaders, trusted friends, and admired professionals are those who consistently take responsibility for their words and actions. Responsibility attracts respect and trust from others, creating stronger relationships and deeper social bonds. People naturally gravitate toward those who can be relied upon, which in turn provides support, collaboration, and new opportunities. Accepting responsibility also fuels personal growth. Every mistake becomes a lesson, and every setback becomes a chance to improve. You stop fearing failure because failure is no longer a judgment of your worth. It is feedback for growth. Responsibility gives your life meaning because it aligns your choices with your goals and values. It turns abstract intentions into concrete action. Each decision you make under responsibility trains your judgment, sharpens your focus, and strengthens your integrity. Over time, this builds a character that is consistent, trustworthy, and resilient. Responsibility also influences your habits. When you feel accountable, you naturally adopt routines that support your goals, avoid behaviors that hinder progress, and become more disciplined in managing your time, energy, and attention. By taking responsibility, you shape not only what you do, but who you become, turning challenges into stepping stones and daily actions into a reflection of your highest self. Your life moves toward what you aim at because human beings are naturally drawn to direction and focus. The mind, left without a target, drifts through distractions, doubts, and indecision. People often wonder why effort sometimes feels wasted, and the answer is simple. Without a clear aim, energy dissipates and potential remains untapped. When you set a target, no matter how small or large, you give your actions purpose. Every choice, every habit, and every thought begins to align with that aim. The human brain is wired to notice opportunities, resources, and solutions that match your focus. When your aim is clear, your attention becomes a magnet for the things that move you forward. You start seeing paths that others miss because their vision is scattered and unfocused. A defined aim turns ordinary days into a sequence of purposeful steps where effort compounds naturally, quietly, and powerfully. Focusing on a target also changes behavior. Humans tend to mirror their goals in their daily actions, consciously or unconsciously. If you aim high, your daily choices reflect ambition, diligence, and persistence. If your aim is vague, daily life becomes reactive, filled with wasted energy and endless distractions. Direction acts like a filter, helping you decide what deserves your time and what does not. Social interactions, work decisions, learning opportunities, and personal habits all start to line up when your aim is fixed. People begin to notice your focus because focused individuals exude confidence, clarity, and determination. That attention creates opportunities in relationships, business, and personal growth. Others naturally gravitate toward those who have a clear purpose, because humans are drawn to certainty and strength of character. Aiming consciously also shapes emotional resilience. Without a clear target, obstacles feel bigger than they are, and setbacks seem catastrophic. When you have a defined aim, every challenge becomes a lesson, every failure a stepping stone, and every delay a chance to improve. The mind interprets direction as safety, reducing fear, self-doubt, and indecision. Momentum builds naturally because, once you are moving toward a target, small achievements create confidence, and confidence fuels continued action. Your aim acts like a gravitational pull, drawing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors toward alignment with your vision. Human sociology shows that people who know what they want influence their environment more effectively. They inspire, lead, and create change. Without an aim, life is a series of random events. With an aim, life becomes a journey of purpose, progress, and meaningful growth.